Hello, my friend, and welcome to episode number 108. And today's episode is about why are you not taking action to get started to reverse your PCOS. Now, this is something like I want to just like give you a heads up on henceforth, whatever podcasts and whatever episodes you listen, they're going to be power packed with mindset, like the mindset coaching, which I coach people on, the way I was trained. And I paid thousands of dollars to understand that your thoughts actually create your results and not your actions, right? Like, this is like brand new information. And I was just talking to my coach about like how everyone needs to know. Like, when we go to a doctor why do we go when we have so much information online, right? Like, even before, so many things would just heal by themselves, but still we would go to doctors because they had that secret treatment. You go to surgeons so that they can fix you. They do some magical things, right? Like, you get better, and we pay for all of that because those are services which only experts can do. Like, even when you have so much information on the internet, we still go to doctors, right? Because they really, like, that human being on the other side can assess you, and with their expertise can decide a treatment plan and actually heal you. Similarly, when it comes to coaching, self coaching yourself on your life, this is like brand new information. Like, we generally think that whatever happens in the world, that is responsible for how we feel, and then we take actions and then we get the results. But that's not how it goes. Whatever happens in the world is actually neutral, because every human, suppose like I stay in this house, right? And I have this room. Now I have thoughts about this room. I love this background. I love it. But my husband doesn't. He's like, it's so boring. Same background, two different opinions from two different human beings. That's because we have that thought. That's an opinion, is a thought. So we do everything like I think this is an amazing background, and then I will feel amazing. I feel good, and then I'll come here and record the same background. And sometimes I get bored of it, and then I change it, and then I will record it. I will keep using the same background for my content. Whereas my husband will be like, this is so boring. You should stop doing content like this, right? Like, he actually uses those words because he's thinking this is boring, right? And that's him. He can think that. I don't think that. I don't know what you guys think, but what really matters to you is probably what I'm speaking, what I'm teaching you, right? So today's episode is going to be exclusively on the mindset behind the actions that we take in PCOS. Now, let me give you a heads up of what's happening in my life. My life is going well. I am still in Abu Dhabi, and it is 5th of January 2024. And I'm a coach, and mostly in the coaching industry, everyone would have done an assessment of what all they achieved in the whole year. I didn't. I just think it's so uncomfortable to do that. It's like, oh my God, I do so much. And then now, when you're asking me to do an assessment, I'll have to like literally sit in focus time to do that. And I did that. And then I saw some information, like, obviously, my brain didn't like anything that I achieved. And it was like laser focus on this one area. It was like, you didn't do that. That didn't work out. That's such a human thing, right? Like, not every human is like me, but the way my brain is wired, maybe your brain is wired that way. Or maybe you have actually done that assessment, or maybe like I still have to do my work. Maybe one day I'll become someone who will assess her annual accomplishments on a regular basis. I mean, I used to be someone whose life used to be the same every year, same job, same people, same work. And then I had a baby, so the life at home changed a little bit. But since I became a coach, it's just like so different. It's not the same because I get to decide how I want to live my life and I keep changing it. So, yeah, I didn't do my assessment, but hopefully next year, 2025, I might. I don't know. Let's see. Let's come to today's podcast, right? Why aren't you taking action? Now, the reason why we don't take action is because of our thoughts in our mind. Now, remember how I said, like, my husband has an opinion about this room, and I have this opinion about my room. Similarly, we have opinions about everything. I have an opinion about this room, and that's why I don't change it. I like it. I'm like, it's perfect. It's good enough. It's not great, but then I don't have that skill of making this like look so beautiful. And some people have that in them, that artistic thing where they do that. Like I have a client who obsesses over her background. She's like, I want to change it. And she will go and like get like all this carpentry stuff and like create something like a full on background the way she likes it. I don't do that. I don't have that in me. I'm like, this is good enough. Right. So the reason why I take action or why I don't take action because of a thought in our minds. My thought about this background is this is good enough. I don't need to change it, right? But can it really be that simple that everything that we do or we don't do is because of a thought behind it? And the answer is yes. Like in the past, like no one really taught us that our thoughts create our feelings, create our actions, and then the results. So this is basically a thought model that I learned. Like it's called a self-coaching model, your circumstance. And if you want to know more about it, go to episode number 1, PCOS beliefs, where I teach about the that self-coaching model. So here it talks about your circumstances, the neutral facts around you. They trigger an interpretation in your brain, which is your thought, which triggers a feeling, a sensation in your body, which drives you to take actions, and that creates your reality. So, the reason that we do something or we don't do something is based on a feeling that we want to feel. Think about it. Like if you have PCOS, right, and you are eating the way you eat right now, or sleeping the way you sleep right now, or moving the way you move right now, you do it because there is a feeling attached to it. Suppose, like, if you are someone who has that frappuccino every day at say 5 p.m. or like something sweet. You just want something sweet like tea or coffee at 5 p.m. Or you are someone who just like wants to have that dessert after food. You are after a feeling that you will get after you have that sweet. And what is that feeling? It might be like, this is yummy, right? I just had a carrot cake. Like my daughter's birthday is coming up, so we went to go to this cake shop, and it's like my husband got that cake for me, a cake for my birthday from that shop, and I loved it because I put these fruits in it, and it was like so soft, and it was not heavy at all. And I thought we should just go. Like it was a no-brainer for me. I was like, why would I go anywhere else? They make it like if they are gonna do some decoration on it, I'm gonna go for it. So he was like, get some cake. And he went to get the car. And I got this carrot cake, and I don't really like carrot cake, but I got it for him. And then since he's diagnosed diabetes, he's like, I don't want it. It's for Mia. I'm like, what the? I wouldn't have gotten it if it was just for Mia. But then I was like, you know what? It's Friday. I'm gonna have it. It's all right. I can have once a week something. So I had this carrot cake and it was yummy. I was not after it, but then I was like, what the hell? So I had it and it was really yummy. So whenever you are doing something, whenever you're eating something again and again, you are after a feeling that you get after eating it. Or suppose like you are at home and you are trying to sleep, but then you don't go to sleep at night. Instead, you're scrolling on your phone in your bed, lying in your bed, scrolling on your phone at night. Instead of sleeping, you're scrolling or watching shows. what are you after, right? Like if you're watching shows, what are you after? You're after that change of emotions which happen in shows, right? Like movies and shows, like there's so much drama which is happening. So there's so much variety of emotions that you will experience. So that's what you're after, right? Like that's why you watch it, because you're after the feeling that you will get once you watch it. Now, we think it's because of the work we have to do or the time it takes that we do something, right? Or we don't do something. Suppose you're trying to lose weight and you are thinking that I need to go to the gym every day, right? Like so many people will believe that like exercise is one of the ways to lose weight. And they are like, hellbent, movement it is. But they have this thought that it won't work because it will take time and I don't have time, right? But that is never the case. It's actually because of a thought that we are having right now about gym. So if you are PCOS and you want to exercise every day and you're not able to exercise because you're saying, I don't have time, it's not because you can't exercise. It's because you have this thought that I don't have time. That thought is either driving you or stalling you by the feeling it creates. So when you think, I don't have time, how does it feel? Generally feels like stressed or pressured or like almost like overwhelming. Like, no, I can't do this. Or like hopeless even. Can't do this. Now that thought, I don't have time, is a thought. Because you will always make time for things which matter to you. Think about it. Like if you have someone visiting over, your best friend who's coming over, you want to spend time with that person. You immediately squeeze her in your schedule. You make it happen, right? That's because you really value this spending time with this human. Whereas when it comes to exercising, right now you don't value it because it's effort and your brain will immediately dismiss any sort of effort because it's uncomfortable. So if you aren't currently taking action, if you're not taking currently action, it's because of your current thinking, your current attitude about it. Find that attitude, find that thinking that you're having right now, find the feeling it's causing, right? So if you're thinking, I don't have time to exercise, or even like forget about exercising. Like I ask my clients to write down what they ate today, right? Like I'm just it's really hot, and then it will get cold, and then it will be hot. Okay, sorry. Watch this on the video and see what I'm doing if you are listening to me. So I have clients, like I actually in my own coaching relationship with my clients, I tell them to not like they don't have to exercise. They can just like skip the whole idea of exercising and just manage their mind around food and they will lose the weight. And the only thing they have to do is literally write down what they ate. That's it. And send it to me. They will not do that. They will not do that. And I don't do that so many times because I have the thought, I don't have the, I don't have the time. I don't know where to schedule it. I'll forget regularly because my brain thinks it's work, so I will not find the time for it. Right. So the feeling that thought, I don't have time, it's creating the feeling of like discomfort. Like I don't have time. Now, how we feel is ultimately determined by us. It is determined by what we choose to think. As I said, if you want to find time, you will find time if it matters to you. So, how do you take action when things like exercising, which is uncomfortable, and at this current time doesn't matter? So, you're not squeezing it in. How can you take action when this is what is happening to you? You can take action by changing your thinking, right? I call this process as the self-coaching model. This is what my coach Brooke Castillo from the Life Coach School had taught us, right? Like suppose if it's a circumstance to exercise. Circumstances like goal is to exercise every day for 20 minutes. For me, it's yoga. So I need to think that circumstance can produce a thought, will produce a feeling, then my action and my result. So if my thought about that goal of exercising every day for 20 minutes, my thought is, I don't want to. Then my feeling is like resistant or like very much committed to that thought. I don't want to. I almost feel like I don't want to, like a rebel sometimes. And the actions when I take from that thought, I don't want to, is like I don't get up on time, I forget, I keep on procrastinating around it, I keep on thinking about it, but I don't do it. And the result of that thought, I don't want to exercise, is I don't exercise. So simple, right? It's so weird, but that's what it is. But your critical mind or your higher version who wants to lose weight, who wants to reverse PCOS, who's like every month passed and then you didn't get your periods, or you are like sexually active and you're worried that you might be pregnant or it might be PCOS and what's happening, right? If that's happening, those moments, your brain will be like, you should have exercised. Why don't you exercise? You know, exercising, all you have to do is exercise. So that critical mind remembers because you live in your mind, right? So your mind is watching everything. All these parts in you are watching you. So that part will remember, right? And there's just a part of you who's saying, I don't want to. But there are many other parts which you can activate by changing your thinking. So I like to think, what are your reasons, right? How do you change your thoughts? Not too quickly, but by noticing them first, paying attention to them, and then slowly, slowly changing them. So, first, you have to recognize, what is your opinion about exercising? Do you even want to exercise? Maybe you don't, right? And if that's the case, then we don't need to, we can just stop telling ourselves to exercise. Like, I have a client, she's morbidly obese. She wants to exercise, but her knees hurt. So physically, when she goes to exercise, her knees hurt. So she gets in more and more pain. And my recommendation for her was like, don't bother with the exercise right now. She can move at home, but lose the weight and then go all in for the exercise, because otherwise you're just damaging your knees. So that was not the right thing for her to do, exercising, because her body is hurting and body is getting injured. It's not like muscle pain. I'm talking about joints which are getting injured. You don't want to mess with your bones and your joints ever, because they hurt. And when it hurts, causes pain, right? So all of you who are obese, please consider losing weight, because your knees and your back will hurt eventually. So notice, what are your thoughts about your goal when it comes to exercising. Is it like, I don't have time, I don't want to, it's too much work, I don't know what to do, right? These are the most common flavored thoughts around exercise for someone who doesn't exercise. You need to write them down on paper. Like, what are my thoughts? You can literally pause this video and like answer that question. What is my opinion about exercising? And just like free write it. Do not edit it. You don't have to submit it to anyone. You just have to see it. It's not an exam, but you need to write honest thoughts about exercising. Just write something for 5 minutes about exercising. Free write. Don't stop. Let it all come out. Right? So then you notice, oh, this is all I think. So you just notice it and you're like, oh, I get it. Why I don't exercise, because I have all these thoughts about it. My opinions about exercise is this. And then you will see how your thought actually creates a feeling of resistance and then action of not exercising, and result of like, you just don't exercise, right? So once you have captured what your current thinking is, you can ask yourself how you would want to feel once you have taken the action, right? This is important for anyone who's trying to exercise, or like I'm staying with the analogy of exercising because I am someone who exercise every day, not like lifting weights or anything. I just do a little bit of yoga and it's just stretching and some strength training, but that's pretty much it. But I am someone who does that. So no one can ever, like, I can never tell myself that I don't exercise. I just do around 15 to 20 minutes of yoga every day. And it's become a habit. But there was a time when I was not doing that. And I didn't even know how to do yoga. I went to a yoga class around 7 years back, 6 years before my pregnancy. So around 7, 8 years back. And I was overweight. Um, I must be around 68, 69 kilos. And I couldn't do it. It was very uncomfortable. And I saw all these people, and especially the white people. Oh my God, they do so much yoga. And I'm like, I'm an Indian. I should know it. And I couldn't. And my theory was I will lose weight and I'll come back. And then what I did was when I had a baby, and then I lost weight after having the baby when she was 10 months old. And then I was like, let me just go for yoga. That's something which I like because I like Thai massage because it's like stretching joints. And I was like, yoga feels just like a Thai massage. So I'm going to go for yoga. So I went for yoga. And because I was pregnant, my joints were flexible and I could do so much. I was like, yeah, I can do it. And then I was like, I could do it. Like, but the thought which started me to go for yoga was like, maybe I can do it. Maybe I can do it now. But I could not access that thought that time when I was overweight. But I did not know life coaching and that our thoughts create our results then. This is just happening unconsciously. We change our thoughts all the time. But what I'm offering you is right now is that you can change your thoughts all the time. You can intentionally change it. Like you don't have to wait for 7 years and a pregnancy to actually go to yoga. When your thought is, I don't want to, or I don't know what to do, you can interrupt it and be like, you know what? I'm just going to decide it's yoga or Pilates or gym, whatever you want to pick up. Be like, maybe I can do it. And that's, we call it like a ladder thought. Like, because you have never done it, right? So you don't know how it feels to do something new, right? Because what we are after is a feeling that we will get. But when you think, maybe I will do it, you are after a feeling of accomplishment of maybe doing it, right? Because maybe you can do it and then you get to, yeah, I can do it, right? That is the celebration which your brain is after. Our brain loves good feelings and they feel good. So we just need to try different thoughts to see which one clicks. So I went to the yoga and I could see that I can do it. And then my thought changed from maybe I can do it to I can do it. And then, of course, I was like, I could do something better than what I was doing before. And there were so many other things which I could not do because all these other yogis, they would be doing all these stretches and handstand and headstand. And I was like, I want to do that. And I tried and I fell and I tried and I fell. And then the pandemic happened. And I was like, nobody is going to do yoga now, but I want to do that handstand. And I had my kids, like I spoke to a friend and she was like, just use one of those floor mattresses and try on a wall. I was like, I'm going to do it because I really like that feeling of being upside down. It felt like I'm flying. It just felt weird. It was like, it felt amazing. And I used to dream about it. And then when I spoke to a friend of mine who works out, she's like, Rashmi, if you're dreaming about it, definitely it will happen. Because then you're like imagining it, right? In your mind's eye that I can do it. I can do it, right? So that's what your thinking is. Like you need to really fantasize something which you don't have. You need to go into the imagination of maybe I can do it, right? And it doesn't have to be a lot of thoughts. It could be just one thought. If you feel it, you hold on to it and you keep practicing it. You keep on engaging the same power sentence every day to get yourself started, right? So that's how you can change your thoughts. Not too quickly, Notice them first, pay attention to the ones which are like creating a result of inaction. And once you've captured what they are, you can ask yourself how you want to feel once you have taken the action. How do you think you will feel once you accomplish your goal? That feeling right there, that's just that you just thought of, it's available for you right now, is the one you need to drive action. Now, this is like a skill which is applicable in different areas of your life. Now, if you, I genuinely don't recommend exercising to lose weight. I recommend exercising for fun and as a stress relief activity because our cortisol hormones are high in PCOS, and a little bit of exercise can like really refresh us and bring the stress hormones down. So that's really valuable for our brain. Now, if you are someone who wants to lose weight, and you were thin before, you can just take a picture of you, the thinner version of you, and look at it. I'm like, I want to do this. Like, just see what your thoughts are about it. Like, I remember there was this one picture of me at 52 kilos, and I looked really skinny and sick actually. But that's not how I was feeling. I remember how I felt in that outfit when that picture was taken. I was feeling glamorous, glamorous. And I blamed the cameras that time. The phone cameras was really horrible. So it looked really bad, but I'm sure if I had put on some makeup, it would have looked good. Or if there was a filter, I would have looked good. But in my mind, what I was seeing with my eyes in the mirror, I loved it. And I remember that feeling. So I held on to that feeling. That's what I want. And I remember my early days of my marriage, after my marriage, the way I looked. I was like, even that time I thought I was fat, but then I'd gained so much weight. I was like, oh my God, I was never fat. And then I held on to that image of me in my eyes and I kept at it. Now, there'll be many of you who have never lost weight or who were never thin. You were always obese all your childhood. In that case, you'll have to really imagine it. Like, you will really have to rely on that imagination of how you feel when you follow a healthy meal plan. Like, suppose you eat chocolates, right, every day, and then you feel guilty, and then you regret it, and then you get acne, and then like that just hurts, and then your brain is doing that thing. And if you don't have chocolates, how do you feel? Do you feel deprived, or do you feel like, or you have chocolates and you eat something really healthy, and do you feel like replenished? Do you feel guilt free? Because you could go after that feeling as well, right? So those feelings that you are after, which you will experience when you do what you want to do, which you're not doing right now, those feelings are available right now and you have to imagine them, right? So when I want to do that headstand where I have to stand upside down on my head, I'm like imagining that act of flying and like balancing. I'm just like imagining it. And sometimes I do the headstand with my eyes closed, and it's a beautiful feeling. And but if I gain even a little bit weight, I'm like losing my balance. But that's the power of your imagination, right? So decide the feeling you need to drive the action you want to take. Find the thought to think that creates it. I guarantee you the action will follow. All right, my friend, that's it for today. If you are someone who needs emotional support to be consistent with your weight loss goal, you need to just come on that clarity call with me. Now, this clarity call is not just like any session. In this clarity call, we discuss exactly about all your health facts, like what's your weight and what is your health condition like, what have you tried, what has worked, what has not worked, what do you think is your current obstacle, and how I can help you with it, right? Because as a doctor, I know what all people go through when they are overweight. But as a health coach, no, not as as a life coach, I know exactly how to help you manage your mind so that I get you to the result. So if you want to lose 20 kilos, I will get you to 20 kilos no matter what. If you want to lose 60 kilos, I will get you there. right? Because sometimes, most of us, what we need is that accountability partner, that one person who stays by us while we are going to that place, because it's very lonely in our mind and nobody is actually helping us because we have to do the work, right? But when you hire a coach, you have someone who is open to understanding exactly what you're going through. All right, my friend. If you're interested, book the session. The link is in the bio. And I hope you have an amazing 2024. And if you have heard it in some other timeline, I hope you have a great day. Bye bye.